Welcome back to our conversation about trust-based philanthropy. And I'm really excited for this conversation because it's about one of my favorite topics, capacity building. Capacity building is getting a lot more popular in the philanthropic sector. About 60% of foundations are starting to provide capacity building funding, which is great. And so we want to talk a little bit more about why capacity building funding is super important when we're talking about trust-based philanthropy. In previous videos, we talked a little bit about accountability and the power dynamic between the funder and the grantee. Well, one of the ways to help mitigate some of this power dynamic is to be able to support the capacity building within the nonprofit so that they are able to harness more of their own self-agency in being able to make decisions, to be able to create accountability within itself, so that it can streamline the relationship in the process with the foundation. So when we think about capacity building, we really do want to think about what are the ways in which we can structure that capacity building effort for that grantee so that they can maximize their efforts. So sometimes when we're having our philanthropic organizations providing this service, we call it a technical assistant. We do it in stages. One of the ways that we like to suggest that nonprofits get to seize on these opportunities and foundations structure this is that rather doing it in stages, like, oh, we're going to do an assessment first, and then we're going to find out from that, and then we're going to do this next thing based on the assessment. It would be a little bit more streamlined if you could think about it as an arced experience. Because the reality is that even when you do an assessment, when you implement, you're going to learn and you're going to have to reassess and implement again. And so instead of doing it in stages, you think about it as a full arc. This is a 3-year experience where you're going to have intervals of assessment so that you're able to learn and do small iterations and testing of the things that are working, and then you can provide that assistance along the way. So, if you are interested in learning more about this method of building capacity in your grantees, or if you're a nonprofit and wanting to learn more about how you can talk to your funder about this, please reach out to us. We'd love to support. And stay tuned for the next video where we're going to talk a little bit about how you might structure that investment for your grantees if you're a foundation.